over there. So the only information I can give you is by face to face. And I don't have anything to help along the way, to go along the way to get certain things started. Again, the communications thereof are a complete obstacle because my phone doesn't work, and I can't even afford a new phone. Come here to give you the information. Again, my phone doesn't work. Yeah, and I struggle with change for a payphone, to use a payphone, because I struggle to change to use a payphone to phone anybody. And certain private things are private things that cannot be spoken about a payphone, especially when it comes to taxes and stuff.
Yes.
Because it's personal confidentiality, personal confidentiality,
Yes.
Whatever, which goes on down to fraud.
What do you need, dear?
Yeah, I was just come to tell you that information.
Okay.
Because I was looking.
Update, you're giving us an update.
I was looking forward to moving things along and etc. But I had a conversation that turned out to be a heightened one.
Okay.
Heightened in vocals, considering behind all of this is there's a man that committed fraud with me, and for somebody to tell me the words "let it go," I can't, because he's used and looked at my ODSP workers personally. From taxes and stuff,
Yeah.
etc. Blah blah blah. Now I have bags. In my bags I have a T5 thing, personal information. So what this man has done, being that I'm talking about taxes, being this is a tax case where I speak, the thing up there says legal services of taxes, of course.
Yes.
And so if he went in over there, looking at my stuff, my personal information, it's a criminal offense and a federal offense. He then ends up finding my ODSP worker's name, doing what he did, and he's committed fraud, and that's why thus I'm here, because where he has committed fraud, and for somebody to tell me in the here and now, this happened last year, but in the here and now, tell me, let it go, I can't, because he still goes on and on and on and on and on. And the communications thereof today, where they're in today, purported to the legality of the ODSP, which purport then to the care and it purports to the care of the ODSP client, which is me. I don't purport to go there talking about a conversation, purporting anything else. I don't talk in tangents or divert off here or deviate off here or digress there. It's any digressions thereof are thereof to things that are related and pertinent to the matter that be, the meat and potatoes. Again, that's why I'm telling you this, because where it says in the Google right there, that's what I'm trying to do here. And that's all that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do the legal and lawful thing, to be open, truthful, and lawful, honest. And that's why the second time I came back, because you look familiar, and I gave you my last name, which is right here. Yeah.
Let me help you out here. Are you in Toronto often, or do you live here now full time?
I used to live with an ex-helper. I'm within my situations and circumstances. And so biblically I take up my cross and follow after Christ, because I don't want to deal with the bullshit, basically.
Right.
This man, for the language, but this man who's committed fraud, and for somebody to sit there and tell me to let it go, I can't, because he has my personal information.
I understand.
And people with personal information, especially my SIN number, my tax name, my tax numbers, and then this, and again, that's why I'm talking about the things that are pertinent to the here.
Right.
The meat and potatoes here, which relates and pertains, there's a complete connection to the legalities with the ODSP, because the ODSP, with money and etc., being an ODSP thing with money, federal thing.
Yep.
Federal, I don't want to get too detailed, but you get it. The federal things, money, and etc., this and that, ODSP things, and the ODSP workers, the whole ODSP states that, the first interaction thereof states that if you're ever, if you're ever suspicious of somebody, whatever, even if you're scared to speak up, or if you're in fear, whatever, of whatever's going on, you tell us. And that's the thing. If you're scared to speak up, we're here for you. This is the first interaction that I had. There was a lot of things that were said between me and my ODSP worker as it pertains to certain things you need to tell us, because we're there to help. We're there to help. If there's something happens, we're there to call the police. We're there for you. We're there for you. We're there for you. We're there for you. Christos. We're there for you. Let's say you're on ODSP. Bonnie. Bonnie. You're on ODSP. We're there for you. Or Chris. You're on ODSP client. We're there for you. So they're there for us. They wanted to be there for us to actually put things in place purporting that in a discourse, in a legal and lawful discourse, purporting the legalities and the parameters within that. And these are the parameters. that no ODSP client need not be taken advantage of, because it's a criminal offense, and also a federal offense. So this guy's running around with my personal information, where somebody here now is going to say, I'll let it go, forget about it. And then when others such stuff and other such people come around, and then they start speaking the bullshit that they speak of, it's basically just saying, bullshit, it's basically just saying, in the law, the law puts a pin in it, and then it uses verbatim, word for word. It says, compounding and concealing an indictable offense, or plural, offenses. And so this man has gone along, he has threatened my ODSP worker because the interaction there I had with the management, thank God for the management. I love them. Oh, do I love them? Not in that way, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I love them.
They're working on your behalf.
Yeah, huh?
I said they're helping you on your behalf, yes.
Yeah, but in this case, certain things have happened that, which again, I struggle with communications, because whatever, I can't afford one, because whatever, and that was that's the things with the ODSP. You sit there and you talk to them, etc. You know, you apportion appropriate money, and etc. This and that. You ask things without asking. How are you going to know?
Yes.
That's the interaction in the ODSP. That's the ODSP. The ODSP worker and ODSP client, and they reciprocate. And where they reciprocate, all of a sudden basically using Greek words or which can be, you know, whatever, and they hear now when I'm speaking English, but the Greek words anyway. So you understand these things very, and I really understand these things because the Greeks brought in political sciences, but I don't political science is just the law and the legalities of the taxes and stuff, and then this and that, and the federal offenses, criminal offenses, which then go back to fraud, which then goes back to here with this guy having my personal information, and then it also goes back to the certificate of nexus, which goes back to political, letting it go when somebody's running around with personal information.
Yeah. Let me help you out here. These people here will help you get your taxes and everything sorted out, and absolutely free.
What?
Yeah, free. So this company here, free. The closest one that is around here is Ajax. That's why I asked you if you're ever in Toronto, because there's a lot in Toronto.
But my primary thing is Whitby, even though my thing is my ODSP is national. And this man who has committed fraud, he's national and he lives here. And then that goes back to that. He's threatened me and he's threatened her. And the conversation that I had with the manager was that she was saying that he didn't threaten her. And I basically said to her, he has threatened her, because in the same respect that he's threatened me, and what he has threatened me, and safety crimes, and took in my information, personal information, somehow then, just somehow, goes to the ODSP, calls her up and sits there and has this whole discussion of the such, and so forth. As you're showing me this, the things that are pertinent and that they relate to certain things go into the demographics, the factions of the such, the demographics that which pertain to the federal things, doing things legally, honestly, openly, truthfully, legally, and lawfully, where this man has really threatened this, and he really has. Anyone that says that when the management was there, and I love them, oh man, do I love them. But when the manager's sister, or anybody who's not the management, the sister says, let it go, you can't, because this guy has my personal information.
I can understand how that'd be frustrating.
So me going into Ajax doesn't really do me any service, because considering that my ODSP, whatever, is there. So then why am I then being redirected to, whatever of the such elsewhere? The reason why I'm being redirected is because this man has significantly threatened this woman.
Yep.
My worker's a woman. And so the woman, without saying any details, the woman being my ODSP worker. So my ODSP worker, the woman, without saying any specific details to the management, whatever. This is my frustration right now here now, because again, my communications can't phone, so you don't speak of certain things on a payphone. And being here actually is a safe haven of my personal information, considering you know my name, which is okay for 100% of you guys who know my name. But other people, where there's bad people, in the whole thing of this world.
It doesn't go anymore.
Yeah, and there you go. It stays here, yes. And so for me to be going into Ajax, it doesn't really ascertain certain sureties. It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't solidify.
If you wait until March, in March there'll be more that open up, because that's when they call it tax season. So March and April there'll be lots in Oshawa where you can go and they can help you out, get your taxes filed. They can file grievances with the CRA if somebody else has your personal tax information, and make sure that you're being safe. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to help you. So the best thing I can do is kind of guide you to where you could go, and they can help you
The
out.
information that I've given you there, Rob, is just to sit there and be aware that there is a man, whatever, he has committed fraud, he has threatened me, he has threatened me, he followed through with, person, you see, as you see, this fingernail, I can't even cut it.
Right.
Because it's that bad. And so for the management to sit there and say certain things she said to me, it's female, again, I love them, thank God, I love them. But what she says certain things to say to me is like, well, my hand's getting worse. And like, I got hit by a car and I'm getting worse.
Right.
It's like, why does an ODSP manager have to sit there and say certain things? That's just deterring it. And when you deter something, it's another word of compounding. They're the exact same meaning, except deterring is just like, well, they're pretty much the exact same meaning. Compounding is just adding certain things just to kind of hide the criminal offense or the sin, biblically sin. Sin and a crime is the same thing you've committed. And so it's for a manager to sit there and say, again, my communication is there on behalf, so that's why I come here. I can't say these things over the phone, so I have to say them in person, because you can't say them over the phone, obviously. And I struggle with change to even call anyway. And so there's a big picture here where this man who has threatened me, person having an empowerment, or being a disability that I am,
Right.
he has threatened her. So what then is the obstruction for her not to phone the police last year? Had she phoned the police last year, had my ODSP worked before the police last year, at that time when it happened, then the discourse thereof, then I would have had my taxes done, no problem.
Right.
And the interaction. But again, this is okay that I met you guys anyway, this one, anyway. Even though my taxes needed to have been done, when they needed to have been done, then my ODSP workers there for me. But then all of a sudden say, and well, that's called compounding and that's when you know that my ODSP worker has been threatened. And even the management over there to sit there and say, to make an excuse for my ODSP worker. This is the management making an excuse for, and I have an appointment with her today. And again, the information that I could have brought here, this is what I needed to do. These are the necessities of, things that I need to do, the pragmatics of somebody's life.
I understand.
The pragmatics of somebody's life are so really needed.
Well, Christos, I appreciate you coming in and letting us know about this other person that has
Yeah, I
taken
didn't
your
have to
stuff.
be aware.
It's good for us to be made aware of this kind of stuff, so
Because,
thank you for
people
that.
do commit fraud, they take certain
Yes,
people's
yeah.
information and that's why I don't like the internet. I don't even have any email or Facebook or Twitter, I don't have none of it because it's all just jibber jabbering nonsense.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Almost most of it, almost all
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, like, and if it's gonna be jibber jabbering nonsense, if it is gonna be that way, then, okay, well, let it be. But at the same time, when certain things impact somebody's life, people don't know. Like, they don't know. When they don't know, they don't know.
Right.
But when you see something happening to somebody, like I'm struggling with my foot,
Right.
for example, I'm struggling from and the left side because I got hit by a car. So my appointment with my ODSP worker is there of the matters pertaining, meat potatoes basically, is there of the matters purporting to my physical health. And physical health is a disability thing. And when physical health is a disability thing, they also need certain money and certain things to funds, money, whatever you want to call it, to facilitate certain things and the pragmatics of it all. Taxes never that they all come together. These factions come together to form the basis. Well, these factions come together to form the basis of the draft of someone's life, on the basis of someone's life, where the money actually helps to facilitate the taxes and whatever. So I didn't have this done last year again. Not that I'm not happy to have met you, the way that I mentioned, but it didn't be done last year, but they weren't done earlier this year.
Yeah.
And they weren't done earlier this year, and neither did be done early, even last year, is because this man has significantly threatened this woman.
Right.
Like, so my worker can't say too much details to the management because this man has really done her that much.
Right.
That much. It's just like when he claims to be a landlord. So when you ask me about, I know the question. I know what for a word for, but it kind of escapes me right now. That certain question you asked me. That's when I told you that I'm in situations or circumstances, which is okay because biblically I take up my cross and follow after Christ, which lessens certain problems on me, and it does. Because I'm not going to sit there and give my money to commercialisms and materialism and stuff, because that's a waste. And it's a waste of my ODSP money. Where it's a waste of my ODSP money,
Right.
then certain things are in questions. Where do you appropriate the money? And the discourse thereof goes to the questions, the inquisition. The discourse it purports to the ODSP money, where is it appropriate? Well, that's where I come in and sit there and say to my worker, I appropriate money this way and that way, to be honest with her. Because you reciprocate me that information, just
Yep.
to be honest with you, and so forth. And then certain things that has happened. Okay, it's really causing me a lot of problem, especially the tax season, which I found this suspicious 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago. 4, 3, 2, and I found it suspicious, last year, even this year. It's like, again, not that I'm not happy to have met you right now, or yesterday. Not that I'm not happy to have met you. But you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on a brief, and in a brief, which you said about grievance and whatever, the thing that you said about whatever, and it's like following up this area grief, with this man, that's what you said. It's like this man, he can sit there and say, oh, well, he's older than me. I look old, buddy, but not even know. He's older than me. And he can sit there and, oh, blah, 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 which goes back to, this is the man, whatever. He can sit there and say blah, 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 but he's just sitting there still continuing the criminal offense up, and it's down there to go to Canada.
Right.
You can look it up, you can even call a lawyer
Yeah,
and
no,
say things
I believe in
like
business, yeah.
compounding and concealing an indictable offense,
Right.
or offenses. So when this guy's gonna say, oh, Christos this and Christos that, oh, by the way, Christos this, and oh, by the way, Christos, Christos is crazy and whatever, really? Or people can say a bunch, just like, really? But I'm still here and talking about the meat and potatoes of certain things. Any digressions thereof, or there's none.
Right.
But none. Any digressions of some kind of whatever. These digressions, they are exposed and they identify where they're exposed. The digressions are that which are of the factions that are of the demographics of the pragmatics line here, being a money thing.
Right.
Again, the deviations are what can be looked at as tangents or not. But
Yeah.
they come back into the bigger picture of the factions of the demographics, which are under the pragmatics of the money, which are here. Which again, communications and the lack thereof is. Again, not that I'm not happy to have met you.
No,
I'm happy to have met you.
how do you do, Chris? So what you should do, bring this to your ODSP worker.
I'd like to, but I have an appointment with her.
Yeah, we actually have a client coming in here shortly,
Yeah.
and we can't guarantee your privacy when they come in, so.
And vice versa with the person, yeah.
Exactly,
Now, I'm not
yes.
gonna show you my ODSP worker's name, but I will show you, that I will show her, you, that, I had an appointment with her today being the 12th,
Okay.
and these are her other days or dates, each
Okay.
days. And so I was asking, whatever, and trying to get for the 17th.
Okay.
And it's like, at least come out and whatever, show your face and etc. But
It's-
there's some kind of a problem.
You know what, if you wanna give her our number, she can give us a call and I can talk to her. That might be the best course of action.
The best course of action is when you actually see the person instead of, because, what you talked to me about calling, that's what this man has done. He's
Right.
went into, like, say you're that man, pick up the card for before this man comes, or woman. So say this, you're that man, and I don't know. He goes searching in my bags. He picks up that card. He goes searching through my mail. He picks up the card of my ODSP worker,
Right.
amongst certain other cards. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, and then, you know how you told me about you wanted for me to give you whatever, to forget the phone, so I'm going really fast, and I'm stuttering going really fast, as you see. So I'm trying to go as fast as I can, considering the client coming in a few minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. And so, yeah, that's what I'm trying to speak as fast as I can. So forth, as you pick up the cards, just a demonstration thereof that he's done something in secret, and which is a crime. It's found in Coolwood, Canada. A secret commission. The secret commission is looking through somebody's mail, and then end up finding that this person has talked to my ODSP worker. In this case, you're just asking me directly for the ODSP whatever to talk to them. But I have some yellow lights, or orange lights, or red lights on that, considering.
I don't want you to feel, I was just trying to help you out, Christos.
Yeah.
I don't do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's.
So if you don't wanna take this with you, I can leave this here, but unfortunately, there's nothing that we can really do to help you out.
But you get what I'm saying, right?
I completely understand, Christos. Yeah.
And I gotta.
I appreciate you letting us know, that's good information for us to know.
Because people do that, and
I understand,
I
yeah.
can even identify his name. His name is Lionel Racine.
Okay, we don't need to know that information, that's okay, that's for you.
Because this guy has committed fraud, and if something happens to me, like say if you guys see me somewhere, as you see me right here, the shield on, the shield on. Say if you see me somewhere, say if something happens to me, like I got hit by a car.
Right.
I got hit by a car, and I was dead, and I was, because I had an out-of-body experience. Not gonna get to do too much details on that, but the point is, I did have an out-of-body experience, because I seen, it's not even that much detail, it's just a few seconds that I can say. My body got hit, whatever, I went up, the one tangent, it's not even a tangent, it's going by certain movies like The Sixth Sense, where the kid says, I see dead people.
Right.
I had an out-of-body experience, I was dead, I was gone. Well, only for a few seconds. You know what they say about consciousness?
Yep.
That was not unconscious, that was I've actually seen everything and even more. Like I've seen the physical cars parked, they were all parked, the police came, the ambulance, the paramedics were there too. Both ones, ambulance and paramedics. They were both different, you know how they have different whatever, ambulance does their thing, paramedics does their thing. They were there too,
Right.
obviously. And so like even still, the physical you can see like all this in front of us, the plants and et cetera, whatever, which is confidential, you can see that actually seen what I seen, so I was dead. And then I'm like, I come back here and I'm wondering, and then here another we met, and that's why I'm saying you sent the information thereof and whatever. So that's why I'm giving you this guy's name, because this guy's name is a significant threat to my life.
Okay.
And he is a significant threat, and his name is Lionel Racine,
Okay.
R-A-C-I-N-E. He is a significant threat. He is. The reason why I'm being passionate, a lot of passion right now that I'm saying, as you can hear my voice. there's a lot of passion,
I see there.
is because this guy went through my bags, got that card, whatever, of my worker, my
ODSP?
worker, the OASP worker, thank you, OASP worker, and so, of the session or whatever, of all this hoopla of bullshit that's going on, with the language, and all this probably is said and spoken in here, because people don't normally use these languages.
Sometimes we give people bad news about taxes, we've heard some servers in here.
Well, oh, then there you go.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything, oh, my ribs.
Oh, you okay, Crystals?
Oh, my ribs. I'm not saying anything really bad, it's just a general thing, or I can just use it biblically. Lies, deceit, manipulation, etc.
Right.
Which is biblically, which is also kind of ethical too. Politically ethical or whatever, but more ethical to whatever. It's the deceit there, which goes on to fraud. Deceit.
I understand, Crystal, yeah. And I thank you very much for bringing us that
So if you
information.
ever see me around whatever,
Yeah.
just either beep or whatever, or I don't know, but
Make
just
sure that you're
be
okay.
wise.
Right.
Just be wise, because I'm telling you, this man, I'm telling you this right now.
Yeah.
You probably think I'm crazy, but I'm
No.
telling you, this man went into my bags, got to whatever, went through there, made phone calls, and then he was telling me.
Yeah, it's not right.
And then going through my personal information of my mail, which is a criminal offense,
Yeah.
taking the information, using it, and then then crushing my finger, like he's threatened me.
Right.
And then another threat that he's made, and he's crushed my finger in a car window. How do you get a person to shut up? Like, how do you, when you're committing a crime, how do you get a person to shut up?
Right.
Like, how do you get them to shut up? Or her, a man or a woman, or high body, a woman, or a man. How do you get, like, say if I'm that man, I've never seen him, and I'm trying to get you to shut up. I'm trying to find a way, trying to understand the person. So you say you're Christos. Well, mention your first name is Chris. And so your name is Christos, and so forth. And I'm this man, Lionel Wilson, and I say, oh, relating and bonding like men, and okay, it's fine. It's not, but that was all a deceptive game, so I'm now the victim. There's a victimizer and the victim.
Right.
What he has done, he has stolen money from me.
Right.
Oh, he has. And so which goes back to certain things where I appropriate money, where I appropriate money, which goes back to the seriousness of, they know how serious I am at the ODSP, and I'm very serious. At the same time, they've also helped me to lighten up. These are the females there.
Right.
Well, and the other people. But
It sounds like they're doing great work and helping you out a
well, today
lot.
wasn't really good because I needed to get the certain things done to bring it here and whatever, to get the ball rolling,
Right.
whatever these expressions are, I don't know what these expressions are, to get,
Yep.
you know, whatever,
All right.
etc. Because I take these things seriously. I don't appropriate money anywhere else, and that's the communications thereof. Going really faster. And that's the communications that are between an ODSP worker and an ODSP client.
Yep.
Because they're to reciprocate the information. And when an ODSP worker says, Christos, or Chris, or Bonnie, or Joel, or Melissa, or Michelle, Jennifer, or Jack, or whatever, you know, when you're on ODSP and people who are on ODSP, you need to tell us.
Yeah.
You need to speak to us. We're there for you. We need to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, see, I'm an ODSP worker, and I'm telling you, Chris, we need to hear it. We need to hear from you. Like, I, the ODSP, I'm not an ODSP, but you know what I'm saying. I, the ODSP, I'm telling you, Chris, you need to speak to me. If whatever psychological things that you have, you know, whatever, that affect you, because the physical also affects the psychological.
Right.
The heart, I'm talking about the heart here, stress and stress kills. It also affects the psychological. Whenever people are going through their common stresses, because people's psychological, whatever, is different, so we're all different. You know, whatever. It's not about being unique, but whatever. I don't want to get into that, but the point is that when we're talking meat and potatoes here, is that you cannot take advantage of a disability client, or whatever they're going through, whether a physical one, a mental one, or whatever, to sit there and take that information, etc. Giving me such a hard time then to come here. Not that I'm not happy to have mentioned it. Again,
Right.
because that sounds disrespectful to you.
No, not at all.
It sounds disrespectful to you.
But
I'm
we
just
do
saying.
thank you for all the information you provided us, but we gotta get ready for our client coming in.
Yeah.
So, but I do wish you have a great day.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
See my last name there?
Yep.
Can you shred that, if you have a shredder?
Yep, can I rip it up right now in front of you?
Sure, I prefer a shredder, but sure.
Sure, I'll rip it, so,
Maybe you can use scissors to really minutely. Okay,
how's that? Is that good?
thank you. Anyway, you get what I'm saying.
You feel good about that?
I do. And if you get what I'm saying, the other exploits the worker, not anybody outside. Whatever. And this guy claims to have been a landlord. He's not a landlord.
Yeah.
Again, certain instances, again, can't say too much, but I'm just summing up very quickly with one thing.
Yeah.
He claims to have been a landlord. What he was done, you prove what I said. Anyway.
Well, thank you very much, Christos.
And so that's then during the week.
Right.
A little bit this.
Of course, yeah.
Talking so fast and I want to, it's kind of drawing me out.
Take a couple there.
Oh, burgers, can I do a couple of those? They do easy down for me.
Which ones?
Egg shot with burgers. Just a couple of
Go ahead.
There you go.
That was the seriousness of the thing today that I needed attention, and I don't know what they did anyway.
You take care, Christos.
Yeah, that'll be.
You have a great day. Looks like it's sunshine, so it's gonna be another nice day. You take care. Pardon me? Block. Yeah. That was exhausting.
Listening to.
26 minutes.